Okay, I want to talk about this Kenya Moore and Britt Edie confrontation that took place on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, just if you don't know already, Kenya was suspended from the show, and now we know why. We saw in the most recent episode of what went down, what transpired. And I see a lot of women being overly critical of Kenya. And I think Kenya is misunderstood. And I'm just going to give you, my critique of her because they keep saying, people are saying she has mother issues, but the majority of black women have mother issues. The majority of us have had a mother to bully us. Our mother was our first mean girl. Our mother was our first bully. So stop isolating Kenya when, bitch, we all are Kenya at the end of the day. That's the majority of the black community. We all had fucked up mothers that were jealous and competitive of us. So I just want to get that out the way because I'm tired of people saying Kenya got mother issues. No, I'm going to tell you what Kenya's issues are. So the whole confrontational thing started. They were all at the dinner table, all the housewives, and they were playing this game. They wrote down a question and put it in a box, and they all had to pull, from the box and ask these questions. And Britt pulled a question and asked Kenya, I don't know, it was something like, why don't you like Britt, or why do you, something along those lines. And Kenya answered the girl's question. Okay. And Britt continued to poke and poke because she didn't like Kenya's answer. Kenya answered the question very ladylike. I thought it was classy and everybody should have moved on to the next fucking question. But no, Britt was not happy or satisfied with Kenya's fucking answer. And she kept poking and na. And then, Kenya being Kenya said, well, a queen doesn't address peasants. And for whatever reason, well, I know why. That sent Britt flying off the handle. Britt started to spiral because Kenya called her a fucking peasant. Then the whole dinner scene is like fucked up because Britt is blowing things out of proportion and won't move the fuck on. She just wanted a reason to come for Kenya. I think Britt is a huge fan of Kenya's. Because from the very first episode, Britt had an issue with how Kenya, Kenya went in the room and hugged everybody. I'm talking about the last episode at the dinner scene. When Kenya came in, she hugged everybody at the table. She hugged Britt. Britt was like, you didn't give me a warm hug. She had a problem with the way Kenya hugged her. I'm like, bitch, you ought to be glad Kenya even acknowledged you. So I think Britt, I don't know, she goes both ways. I think she secretly is lusting for Kenya because she's a big fan. And it is showing everything that she does is like centered around Kenya. Like she's obsessed with Kenya. So anyway, back to the story. Britt blows everything out of proportion. Now she's talking about getting a pistol. She got pistols, like indirectly threatening Kenya, like, bitch, you got the right one. If I got to go there, how do you go from asking a basic fucking question to mentioning pistols? Britt overdid it. And Kenya was classy. She left with her girls, didn't go back and forth with Britt. She just left. Now, where Kenya went wrong is Kenya on the grand opening. She has a hair spa, beautiful hair spa. And she had a grand opening, had a huge audience, guests, all the girls were there. And she chose to expose Britt. She had these poster boards with photographs of Britt all over the poster boards. And what she exposed at her grand opening was Britt in her video vixen days. I guess she was in high school, so she was in compromising positions on her knees, giving to a man. I guess she showed before and after pictures of Britt's she has a terrible nose job. I don't know who her surgeon is. She need to go back. They need to fix her nose so that she could talk like a decent human being. She talks really nasally and it's fucking annoying. I like Angela. Angela's Charles Oakley's wife. She didn't get her nose fixed too. Bad nose jobs. Come back right, ladies, next season. I just had to say that. Kenya is exposing Britt. She's showing photos and oh my God, everybody's like, oh God, people were grossed out. A lot of people walked out and left. The thing is this, Kenya chose the wrong time to do this. I could see if she had like a get together at her house, like a little barbecue, and she did this shit, with just the girls. But on the day of your grand opening at your salon, I think she should have held off on it. even though I think it's working, there's no such thing. Bad publicity will work either way. I think all this bad publicity that she's getting is still going to work to her advantage from a PR standpoint. It still promotes her hair salon, even though it's negative talk. It's still a win for her. And I think she's suspended, but I think Bravo is never going to let Kenya go because Kenya makes for good reality TV. She's suspended because let me tell you, if y'all remember, they got rid of Phaedra. Now all of a sudden Phaedra's back. And we know what Phaedra did. Okay, Phaedra put out the rumor about the grape allegations with Candy. So if they can invite Phaedra back, Kenya ain't going nowhere either. Here's the thing about Kenya. I'm getting tired of black women like judging her. What I think, I don't think Kenya is a narcissist. I've heard people call her narcissist. Although she behaves, I think she has narcissistic tendencies. Kenya, in my opinion, because I'm in graduate school pursuing my psychology degree, and this is just what I read, I think Kenya gives me borderline personality disorder. She acts more like a borderline. Now, if you want to talk narcissists, Portia and Nene. Phaedra's more of a sociopath. They're terrible. Actually, they all act like sociopaths. Portia, Nene, narcissistic sociopaths. You want to talk about narcissists? Those three women I just named, nasty, catty motherfucking bitches. Okay? Now, Kenya has a tendency, if she want to get down and be evil and mean, she can. But Kenya has an empathetic side to her, which tells me, and she's very emotional. Like the things Britt did to her, her lashing out is what tells me she's behaving more of a borderline. Okay. And she's, it's reactive abuse. Britt Edie is she's a sociopath. And what you got to know about sociopathic women, they are bisexual. They're, when they become obsessed with you as a woman, they will bully you. If they can't get close to you and become friends with you, they will try to bully their way into your life. These women become hyper fixated. I've been through this. Listen, I've been targeted by a female sociopath. Okay, so I'm telling you now, I think Britt goes both ways. I think her husband's on the DL, and I think she is hot for Kenya. That's where all this behavior is coming from. She's a fangirl. My discernment is very high. Okay, I don't think Kenya's a narcissist. I think she knows how to act and turn up for reality TV. Remember, she got a family to feed. She's got a baby to feed. So she's got to, keep them checks rolling in. Reality TV pays her bills. So I think Kenya knows how to perform and turn up when it calls for her to do so. But in terms of her real character, I think she's not as nasty as Nene and Portia and Phaedra. Okay, them bitches is low down. Now, to talk about her mother issues, the reason why Kenya is the way that she is, yeah, she has an abusive mother, a narcissistic mother. But the problem is when you're on reality TV and you're on a cast with women who behave just like your narcissistic mama, you're going to stay triggered. You're going to stay reacting a certain type of way, out of character. Women are always pushing your buttons. Kenya needs to get off the show. I think she needs to do a spinoff show. A spinoff show would be really lovely for her. Because you can't stay in that toxic environment with those ladies. They're going to trigger you, provoke you, smile in your face, talk about you like a dog. These women are all narcissistic, cluster B, sociopathic. Understand that Bravo casts these types of women to make good TV. They bring the drama. Look at Housewives, Karen and all them. Look at all the reality shows. These are toxic people on these casts. Love and Hip Hop, all narcissists. So if Kenya, if she's going to make any changes within herself, she needs to get off the show because she's going to stay triggered with these women and act out a character and do things she shouldn't do. And I hold her accountable. She shouldn't have did that at her spa salon opening. There's a time and place for everything. But I think she's not as nasty as people think she is. I think she's acting most of the time to maintain her position on the show. But she is hurting, and I think she is a borderline. I can't fucking stand Britt. Get rid of Britt. Send Britt to Love and Hip Hop. That's all I will say.